Welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be making a bridesmaid's dress. So for this I'll be needing my fabric, the tape, the scissors and the chalk. I already made some of them. This is one of the ones that I made. So this is the initial style that I wanted to make, but I'm giving it some changes to it. Like I'm making it my own style, and as you can see, this is somehow different from the picture, but they are almost the same. So this one is one of the ones that I made. I haven't finished it yet. I still have to give it some changes still. And then this is the bottom. The back part has a tail, and then the two sides has some play to it. So this is the back, the top back of it. It's supposed to be like an off shoulder. So now I'm going to make one more of this, the style that I just showed you. So let's get into the video. So first I'm going to check the bottom length, that is from the waist to the end of the dress, because I'm making it almost like a top and a skirt attached together. So I'm going to check from the waist to the end. So from the waist to the end, the measurement I'm working with is supposed to be 49. So 49, I'll add like extra 2 inches to it. So that will be 51. So I'm going to mark my 49 at this point. I'm using this to hold the fabric because it's slippery. So I'm just going to mark here. And then the next thing I'm going to mark is the waist measurement. And the waist I'm working with is 30. 30.5 divided by 4. That will be 7.65. So from here, I have my 7.65. That's almost 8, plus 1 more inch for the darting, that's 9, and then plus 1 more inch, that is 10. So I'm just going to mark it at 10 because I like to leave some extra room. It's better that it's too big than too small without room for adjustment. Here is supposed to be. So the shoulder to waist that I'm working with is around 16.5, right? So that is where my top will attach. And then from this waist of this skirt to where the hip is supposed to be, that is around 25, right? So I'm going to mark my 25 over here. This is 25. And then from this hip, this is my hip line. My hip, my waist, right? This is W, this is the waist, this is the hip. And then from here to above the knee. So that's from here to above the knee, that would be. So this is the line for above the knee for me, and that is 38. Just to be sure, 120. So here I have 3 lines: the waist, the hip, and then the above the knee. So for my hip measurement, I'm working with 34, and 34 by 4 is supposed to be 8.5. So this is 8.5, 9.5 as 1 inch. 8.5 plus 1 inch for my seam allowance is 9.5. But I'm just going to make it 10 because I'm giving it 0.5 inches extra just for extra space in case if I need to readjust it. And then for the hip measurement, that same 10.5, right? I have what here? I have 10 inches here. So the same 10 inches I have at the hip, I'm going to subtract 1 inch here. That will be 9. So from here, I'm going to mark it in between this 9. And then from here, I'm going to mark it up here, meeting this way. So the one I subtracted here is because it's supposed to come in like at the knee, after the hip, is supposed to be fitted. So if it's going to come down that way, I need to subtract 1 inch at this above the knee line here. So from here, I'm going to, so from this point now, I'm going to mark all the way down to the end of the flay. And at the end here, I have, I think 17 inches is what I gave it here. 17 inches. So what I'm going to do now is, from this point, if you have a ruler, that is even better. I'm going to just mark a straight line down, going to this, to the point of this here. So just going to readjust it so you could see. So from here, mark a straight line going down this way, and this is the front panel of this skirt. So now I'm going to cut it out. So guys, with the front panel that I already cut out, this is the first piece that I cut out, right? I'm going to use it to trace out the back. And for the back, there's supposed to be a zip, right? So for the part I'm going to add the zip, is going to be at this end. So I'm going to leave about 1 inch here. So let me take this out. So now I have placed this like close to this end. This whole space here is for my 1 inch. Guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and traced the back out with the 1 inch for the zip. This is 2 pieces here, and then this is the one that we cut, which is the front panel, and then this is the back. So now, guys, the next thing to do now is to cut the train. That's the part of the flay that I'm going to attach to the side. I'm going to attach a piece of fabric to the side here. Let me show you. So the way it is now, right? This is the front piece. Let me move this aside. This is the front piece. I'm going to attach a piece of flay on this side, additional piece of flay on this end, and then 1 piece of flay between the 2 pieces at the back at this point here. So guys, this is what I'm talking about. To explain it better, this is the front piece, right? This is the front of this dress here. So as you can see, the 2 sides has additional flay attached to it, right? And then the back piece also has like a tail here. So this is what I'm about to cut now. This is what I'm about to cut right now. Okay. So first of all, you have to fold the fabric into 2, right? The way it is now, folded into 2. And then I'm going to place this. So I folded it into 2, and then this is the fold here. I'm going to bring this towards me this way, almost like I'm cutting a circle dress. So I'll bring this towards me and then try to hold it down with something, and then pull it up here. So now I'm going to measure from the same above the knee, right? Just below, from where the curve started, the part where you subtracted the 1, down to the end of the flay. So from the line, I've already done that. Mine is 29. So from this point here, I'm going to check. Okay, yeah, I have 29 here. So I have my 29. I'm going to mark 29 all over. So from here, I'm just going to work with 29.5. So from here, I'm marking it all the way. I went ahead and marked my own all the way around, right? But for the back piece, I want it slightly longer. So I want the tail at the back piece longer than the ones on the side. So for that, I'm going to add extra 3 inches to it, right? Or 4 inches, which will be here. And then from these 4 inches, I'm going to mark it all the way and then join it somewhere here. So if you can visualize what it will look like, if this is how they make train. If you want extra, maybe 6 more inches for your train, you could just give it extra, maybe 12 more inches, and then you mark it all the way from here. That will give you that long tail at the back of the dress. But for me, I don't want it like excessively long, so I'm just going to stop at 4 inches for myself here. So I'm now going to cut this out. But when cutting it out, remember I have one for the side, the ones for the 2 sides, and then I have one for the back. Just let me cut it so you can see. So to explain what I'm saying, I'm going to cut this out now, right? And after cutting this, you remember I only need one train for the back. I only need this tail at the back. I don't need this tail at the 2 sides. So for that, I'm going to separate it this way. I'm going to separate it. I'm going to separate. Yeah, I'm going to separate it, right? And then remove one. This one will be the long part. So if you could see, once you attach it to the dress, right, this will be the tail at the back. So it will go all the way like this. So I'm going to let this go and then trim out the tail for the 2 sides, because I don't need the tail at the 2 sides. So now I'm going to trim it out. I'm going to trim out this here. So you see, this now can serve as the ones for the side. I don't want the flare at the bottom too wide. So for that, I'm going to cut this into 2 and use one piece on this side, one piece on the left side, one piece on the right side. But if you want the bottom with a lot of flare, you could just make 2 of these, use one on one side and one on the other side. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to split mine and share it for the 2 sides so that it doesn't have so much flare at the bottom. So now I'm going to cut it. You have to be careful with the silk fabric, because the satin fabric, because it's slippery. So now I've cut mine, right? It doesn't matter, when I sew it in, you won't see the rough ends. So for this, I'm going to have one on the right, one on the left, and then the one with the tail will go at the back. So now I'm going to start making the top part of the dress. So for the top part, I have to check the length first, and then the length I'm working with is, the shoulder to waist is 16.5. So for that, I have to subtract around 4 inches for the off shoulder part, and then leave 1 inch for folding it and ½ inch for tucking it in at the end. So with that, I'll have 17 inches. So with that, my tape will end at 17 here, but in total what I have is 13 inches on the dot. So the next thing is to check the bust. So for the bust, which is the widest part of the top, is 36.5, by 4 is 4 will be 9.15. So I'll give it additional 1 inch. That will be around, so let's say I'm working with 10.5 for the bust measurement. So how you do it is the bust measurement divided by 4. So for me, I'm working with 10.5 plus 1. Bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1. So I'm working with 10.5. And then for the length, what you do is you subtract 4 inches, add 1 inch for folding it on top, and then ½ inch for the bottom here. So after that, you check the shoulder. The shoulder I'm working with is 15.5 divided by 2. That will be 7.75. So let's say around almost 8. So I'm going to mark it at this point here, and then come down for my armhole, which is around 18.5. So 18.5 divided by 2, that will be around 9.25. So 9.25, which is here, subtract the 4 inches that I'm going to for the off shoulder. So 9.5, that will be somewhere here. So I'm going to mark it here and then mark it this way. So anything you do, you remember the 4 inches that you're removing for your up shoulder, or if you want to use 5, but mostly people use 4, and that is what I'm using here. So as you can see, when I did my armhole, I did 18 divided by 4. Normally, if this was a normal top, I'll start from here and mark my shoulder, but since this is an off shoulder, I subtracted the 4, which means my clothes started at 4, and then to where it's supposed to mark, which is the 9. So I gave it my armhole, subtracting the 4. So then for my waist measurement is supposed to be 30.5 divided by 4 is 7.65. So remember, you're supposed to add a dart here, so that will be 8.65. The dart is plus 1 inch, and then the side seam is plus another 1 inch, so altogether is almost 10. Plus, because I also give extra room for any adjustments. So from there, I'll mark this down up to here. So this is the front panel. I'm going to cut it out. Oh Lord. Okay, so with this here, I'm going to trace the back also. Fold it. Is basically the same thing, except you give it back, and this is my front panel. So now I'm going to cut it out. This is for the zip, and then I'm going to remove this excess here. So after this, now the next thing I have to do is, so guys, to cut the sleeve, what you need is the length of the sleeve, which is from here. This is the one I've already made, right? So which is from this top part to this, so it's 2.5 inches from from here to here. I don't know if you could see, from here to here is 2.5 inches. So what you're supposed to measure is from the end of the back of their armpit to the front here. For this person is 7.5. So their armpit, their shoulder is this is their arm. You go from the back of their armpit to the front, and then you measure it as what you're using for the sleeve. So after that, you can now attach it. But for me, I want to use lace, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to cut and attach this lace to it. Because as you can see, it's not on the inside, but it's on the outside of this. So guys, I've gone ahead and I made this piece as the sleeve. I made like 4 of them, 2 for one sleeve and 2 for the other sleeve. And with these 2 pieces I've made, each one will go for one lace, each one will go for another lace, right? You can do it any other way you want, but this way works for me, and I feel like it's neater that way. So what I'm going to do is, the way I place this is right side facing me. So this is the right and this is the wrong side. And then I place the lace also the right side facing me, that's on top here. And then I face this one the wrong side out. So the wrong side is facing me. The same for this, just to sew on top, following this line, like so, all the way at the end. Sew another one all the way at the end. And then from this first opening here, I'm going to flip it open this way, right? So I'm just going to do that and come back. So guys, I've gone ahead and I've sewed on this sleeve, and this is the back, this is the front. So when I go to attach it, it's going on this way. But what I want to do now is to measure the sleeve. So from what I measured initially, it's supposed to be around 9.5, right? So 9.5 plus 1 inch, which will be 10.5. The 1 inch is because of the ½ inch on this side and ½ inch on this side when you go to sew it on. So what I need now is 10.5, and this is 10.5 on the dot. Now guys, I just want to place the lace the same way. This lace here, I now want to place it here because I have my lace with me. So how I'm going to do that is just, if I open this up, I'll find the perfect side and then spread it out on this. Just the way you normally trace stuff. So that's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to place it here, right? And just make one simple stitch on it just to hold it down. And then I'll now cut out the side how I want it, just the way this is, and then trace it on it. As you can see, I've also gone ahead and done almost everything. The inside, let me move this aside. As you can see, I added that at the back, and then I sewed in this side, and then folded this part, gave it 2 dots in front. So now I have to attach the other side after putting the lace, because my lace comes on this side. And then I'm going to, when I'm done placing the lace, and then I'll attach the back. So let me do that and come back. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and traced my lace. So I just placed the lace, and then after making the straight stitch, as you can see here, I just went ahead and then traced it the way I want it to end, and then sewed on top of each part. And then I also added my sleeve. The way you add the sleeve is just, if you get the straight band, you just attach it on one side and then attach it on the other side, and then you have the sleeve the way it is right now. And then as you can see, on the same side at the back, I also added the same lace. So on the left side of all the dresses I have here, they have lace in front and lace in the back. So it depends on how you want to place yours. So the next thing I want to do now is the bottom of the dress. I want to place the lace for the bottom of the dress. And as you can see from here, as you can see from this, I have the ends placed this way at the hip, because most of the people wearing these dresses are on the slim side. So I just gave it this design so it to give like the illusion of a bigger like hip. So that is what I did here. As you can see, I use this here and I also use this here. So you just have to get your lace, and then so all you have to do here is just to get the lace, right? At the end of each lace, like if you get like maybe 1 yard of the lace, at the end there's always this pattern here, right? So this particular pattern, what I do is, let me move this over. This is the one I'm making right now. So I have already given it the dart. Let me move this aside. I've already given this the dart, right? So first you give it the dart, right? And then the next thing you do is to just bring the lace you're going to use, and then place the lace this way, almost like in a curve, and then make sure that these nice ends are just placed this way, because if you end up using this type of end for it, it won't look nice like the end that you traced yourself. But I'm using the end that the factory traced their self, like the ends that this lace came with. So that is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to pin this down the way I want it to be, pin it down here, then cut it out, place it on this side also, pin it down, and then cut out the end, and then sew on it. So I'll do that and bring it back. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and attached the lace to the skirt. I first just I held this with the pin and then made a stitch all the way at the ends here, and same on this side. And then I attached the back of the skirt to it. So as you can see, the bottom is ready, and now I'm going to attach the top part and the bottom part together. What I have to do is to I'll first find the center of the front, and then also find the center of this top part, and then hold it together this way, and then from here I'll place the dart on here to the dart here, and then the dart here to the dart here, and then sew all the way around, and then place my zip. So after doing that, I'll come back, so we'll deal with the end of the dress. So let me attach mine and come back. So guys, I've gone ahead and I've finished. Guys, as you can see, the zip is done, everything is done down to here. So I went ahead and also attached the tail at the back. So as you can see, this is the center back. I've attached the tail here. So now I have only 2 more, and the one at the back is the widest one. Sorry. So now what I have is the 2 small ones. So I'm going to leave one at this side, meaning between the front and the back on this side, and then I'm also going to attach one between the front and the back on this side. So you just basically from the inside, it's just from the inside this way, because this is the front. So from the inside you just sew all the way down, and then you hold it down from this side, and also the piece from the back, and then also attach it all the way down from this one side of the back. That way, that's how you do it to get the whole bottom of the dress. So I'm going to do mine, and then also fold the end of the dress, and I'm done. So guys, I've gone ahead and I've finished the whole dresses. So I've attached the 2 sides. As you can see, this is one side, and then this is the second side. I still have to give it some finishing touches, and I folded the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.